Has anyone seen my pants?
I saw him at the back of the bus.
What's this countdown for?
Y2K. Hey, everyone, and welcome to Old World Tech Fridays.
Good evening.
How are you?
Fantastic. And yourself?
Good.
Yeah, Trina is not with us this evening. But we do have I can't believe it's not Trina Alternative. Would you like to introduce our special guest for this evening, Frank?
Well, our special guest, I'll give you a hint. He was one of the Wiggles, like one of the original Wiggles. Not like the Wiggles now. One of the original Wiggles.
One of the original, okay.
It may rhyme with the letter F.
Right.
Not giving it out, or anything like that.
Right.
But yeah, let's bring out our special guest. I'm excited. Mashed banana, all that good stuff.
I'm excited.
Yummy fruit salad.
Yep.
Dorothy the dinosaur.
Big red
all
chair.
the classics. Yep. Toot toot chugga chugga.
Yeah.
So let's without further ado, let's bring him out.
What's up, Jeff? Hot potato. Hot potato.
Chris,
anybody
how
on
are
these
you?
programs. I'm doing
I know,
great.
right?
Yeah,
well, that's what happens, like I take a few weeks off, and I'm busy, and then we just get wild and crazy when I come back.
See, the problem is Frank left, and we didn't build the wall, so anybody can get in.
That's right. Anybody
can get in here. So
Chris, it's been a while since we saw you on a stream.
It has been a while. Yeah, I've been hanging out on other streams here and there, but I haven't really been on a lot of streams. So it's great to see everybody.
No, it's also great to see you not at a VCF event, because normally when we bring you on, it's last minute and you're showing us the live coverage.
You're yelling at a cell phone, and there's like dropouts.
Oh, yes.
And,
Yep. So normally it's a VCF of some sort.
Yeah, Indeed. The last one I went to when I was with you guys, I had just lost my voice that day.
Oh, I bet. Yeah. So are you fully recovered and ready for the next one? Are you going to West or no?
So I'm going to skip Midwest.
Or Midwest, yes.
Yeah. Maybe I know. Maybe next year. I know. Yeah. I had some weird health things that were popping up, and things seem to be better now, which is good. But
well, you don't want to push it, either.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could reverse course and go and book another hotel and book a flight, but I think this year I'm gonna skip it. But yeah, the plan is next year.
Awesome.
We live for this stuff. It's a lot of fun, and as I keep on looking at the attendance list, as I see Ryan's gonna be there, I see others are gonna be there. I'm really sad to miss it this year.
Well, it seems like from what I've seen of the lives and everything of the different VCF events, I mean, every one of them's got their own, unique thing. But it seems like VCF Midwest and K-Fest are, I think, by far the biggest ones, because it's essentially central for both sides to come together. Yeah. It seems like there's a lot more happening at Midwest than the others. I've never been to one, so I can't tell you. But just from what I have observed, it looks like that's the place to go. If you're going to go to one, save your money, save your time off, and go to that one. It seems like
it's the Super Bowl. That's what I've always called it, is the Super Bowl of VCFs. And it's. Yeah, we certainly appreciate all that the organizers do for the other VCF.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not saying don't go to any of the other ones. No, I'm just saying for some reason it seems like the biggest mix of everybody winds up at Midwest. Yeah,
agreed. Yeah,
there's a different vibe depending on which one you go to. Right, some are smaller, some are bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Each have their unique things. So don't get me wrong. I'm sure they're
all. No. Yeah.
And this is the only reason you want to go, Chris, is because
Eric's going to be there. He'll have a table.
Eric's going to be there. He's going to have a table made completely of HyperCard.
And if that doesn't sell you, Tom says things seem to be better now, you said. So I think that's the perfect sign to push it, he says.
I don't know. By the end of the stream, you guys might have me convinced.
To quote Salt and Pepper, push it. Push it real
good.
Yeah, right.
But like I said, by far it seems like the biggest collective of a good mix of all over the place seems to congregate at Midwest for sure.
Well, there you go.
Yep. Joe will be there, of course.
Nail in coffin.
Ooh.
See, you can see Joe be a totally different in person.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. Everybody's gonna have to report back on that. So I'll be curious to get everybody's.
It'll be like a VCF scavenger hunt. You got to find these different things at different people's tables or whatever,
right?
And collect everything on your card.
Yeah,
it's a bingo.
exactly, like a VCF bingo. That would be awesome. Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it's great to have you on. We're
you.
excited to actually see you and
you.
talk with you, other than via text and stuff. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you're doing well.
Thank you.
So I was talking to Ryan before the stream, and I was talking about you've put out a crap ton of awesome DOS related content. And
is that official? Is that an official measurement system? A crap ton?
Crap ton. Yes.
Is that a metric ton or an imperial ton?
It's right next to Qubit.
It's a okay,
crap ton and Qubit. If you're going alphabetically, they're next to each other.
Gotcha.
But it got me thinking. So last week I was talking about this, Chris, and I don't know if you saw.
Yeah.
I went on a little bit of a spending.
Oh,
Frodo found money. You know what happened?
He found money.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
So I started loading up on a lot of Novell NetWare stuff.
Ooh, fantastic.
Because I know you're into NetWare as I am.
Yeah.
And there are a few others like Rudy and stuff. But like I started picking up this is NetWare client for DOS and Windows version 1.2.
Oh my goodness.
Box set. This is a box set of 3.12. I ordered
best version ever.
I ordered 2.15, I think it is.
That's also a great version.
So I plan on at some point here soon getting with you. And we have a collaboration we already planned at some point to put together. I have all the stuff for that now, but this is another one I think would be a good one.
Yeah.
Because it kind of ties in with a lot of the stuff that you did with your DOS stuff as well. Because I know you do a little NetWare stuff.
IBM Classroom is is the thing, right?
Yep.
That's the correct. IBM iClass that runs off Novell.
I was gonna say that runs on top of Novell, correct? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But I'm gonna be getting some old group wise versions too, because I was talking last week, and I can remember in VOTech school. So this was like 2000 through 2003 or 4. I have a Richard Tech sticker and a letter.
Love it.
But I can remember 2000s to 2004, like through high school. We administered at the VOTech school. We administered the Novell network for the whole, not just our district, but the 5 districts that were part of the VOTech. We had the central network servers there, and then all the districts connected, and they were part of our forest. We administered the servers and updated and stuff there. We ran NetWare. We ran GroupWise. We ran Border Manager.
Wow.
And then we also did an intranet software.
Okay.
I can't remember what it was called. Maybe it was just NetWare Intranet, but I don't think that was it. It was an intranet software.
Was it Lotus?
It was called
Lotus had an intranet.
No, this was part of Novell because they bought into Novell everything back then. It was cheaper. I mean, Microsoft was super expensive back then, especially for schools to afford.
Yeah.
Novell
easy to set up. It's like the Novell configuration. You kind of had to have like almost a software developer mindset. It was like written by software developers.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
But what's crazy to me, and I think I mentioned this a little bit last week, and I don't know about your experience with Novell NetWare, but what's funny to me is school districts didn't have a lot of money to pay an IT person. So I worked for one school district where the janitor, like the maintenance director, they sent him for classes, and he learned NetWare and stuff to administer the stuff for the school district, the guy that was in charge of the custodians.
Yeah.
And then he ended up being, after the school district got enough money to afford it, he ended up being the IT person, for the school district. I just thought it was the funniest thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, I never went to school for, IT or anything." He goes, "I was the maintenance director, and they sent me to classes."
It's funny you should say that, Frank, because as the IT guy for school, I'm actually taking janitorial classes.
You're going to master the custodial arts?
Yes. Actually, I was replacing light bulbs on a ladder today at school. So,
hey, other duties as assigned. That's where they get.
Important job.
That's 90% of my contract is and other duties as assigned.
Yeah. So CDI says it was GroupWise or Lotus Notes, not both. Network is easy to set up and run. Just need to learn it, and it's got its quirks.
Yeah.
I mean, it was neat, and if you knew how to use it, it was great.
Yeah.
But it could have its issues, especially when it came to updates.
Mm-hmm.
It was a little bit of a tricky situation. So what the districts ended up doing is because it was too expensive for each district to have like an IT group or an IT department. They shared and they pooled resources. So we had what was called Intermediate Unit 1. This was in Pennsylvania. We had Intermediate Unit 1, and essentially it was kind of like a shared resource. They had
like
two guys.
Really bad Borg designation.
Yeah.
It's like 7 of 9 intermediate.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they had these two guys that would come to each school where they had servers set up, and they would do the updates and they would do the stuff and the maintenance and stuff.
I do remember Novell like updates in like elementary school and junior high.
Yep.
And I remember them like, oh, the computer lab's broken for a month.
Oh God, yeah. Yep.
Well,
what was kind of funny, and it seems like a lot of districts did this. So, like, we had Apple IICs in elementary school, and then late elementary school, like 5th, 6th grade, they switched to the LCs and some Performas. And then after that, they got like the Dell computers.
Right.
They switched to Windows machines at that point because they were just dirt cheap, at that time.
It was a race to the bottom.
Yeah, and what was funny is the stuff shuffled down. So like as the high school and the middle school got new stuff, the elementary school would get them. Then what happened is the older Macs and stuff went to the individual classrooms at that point. Like each classroom got a couple.
Yeah, they always had like a desk at the back of the classroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Or a separate little cloak room that had computers.
So it would filter down to where they would get the oldest would be at the elementary school because they use the basic programs and stuff like that for the kids.
Well, they would if there was Apple II.
Well, sure. But then as you got up through the school, like the high school's old stuff went to the middle school, and then the high school kind of had the newest stuff because they're doing the most things on it,
Right.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird the way that not weird, but the way money worked.
Right.
You knew which way monies get shifted around.
When I was in elementary school, we did a big fundraiser. We had a walkathon to raise money. We were going to buy new computers for the school. Right. The schools could purchase their own computers. The district would also provide computers, but the school can also fundraise for their own computers. And we ended up getting like 4 new computers, and they went to the office.
Oh my goodness!
And I was like, and then the office computers ended up being put out in like the computer lab. I was like, what? This is what a crock of shit.
Yeah.
The injustice.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it should work that way, does it?
No.
But anyway. I had mentioned I don't know if NetWare had anything similar or what your experience was with the IBM Classroom and stuff like that. But we used we were using Windows 98 at the time, and they put deep freeze on the machines, and essentially what it was is you can use and do whatever you want and save documents to the desktop and all that stuff as you worked on them. But as soon as the computer restarted, it went back to that image where it had nothing. Like there was no extra crap that was from any students or anything. It would restore it back
Windows,
to the settings.
It boot Windows into almost like a RAM only mode.
Yes.
It just had
kind of like how Linux was the live disk.
Right.
It had just enough like read write ability that it didn't crash the OS, and then it would just reboot. And if you rebooted, it would. Deep freeze is awesome. Out. I used it for years.
No, it was really cool.
I need to look into that. I've never used it. So.
Yeah.
Well, that would be cool for your
its
old
logo
lab
is
stuff.
a polar bear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Polar bear.
What you would do is you would put in a keyboard shortcut, and you hit that key combination, and it'd pop up with a password window, and you could type it in, and then that would unlock it.
Yeah.
And then you could do whatever changes you want, and then restart, and then it keeps everything the way you set it. Settings like anything from desktop customizations with you could do pretty close to the same type of thing with
the new
group
version
policy.
Utilizes Windows Shadow copy stuff, which is pretty cool.
That's so deep freeze is still around.
Oh yeah.
No kidding. I'm gonna have to look at that. That's cool as hell.
Huh.
So for that third or fourth company you open, Frank, when you start administering to schools again.
Yeah. One laptop per child. That'll be the new thing.
Oh,
just kidding.
I think they tried that already.
I'm just kidding.
Now it's one Chromebook per child.
Hey, here you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
hey. Nice to see you, Javier. Thank you.
People tune in for the guests. That's why they're here. So Joe said it actually writes to the hard drive, but on reboot, the driver just unrolls the changes. But it's really cool. Whoever came up with it was a genius because that was the coolest thing at the time. because you didn't have to constantly
Hey, Rudy.
re-image machines or, when they got crapped up. This kept everything clean. As soon as you rebooted, all the crap was gone. Back
And
to
now
normal.
the way we had it set up was that we'd have it would still be attached to the domain, so the user would log in with their username.
Oh,
and
ours
password,
was too. Yeah,
and they could save to their like H drive, which was so they could
Well,
save all their documents to the server. But when they reboot, it would put the Windows back.
Well, back at this time that we used it, none of us got individual usernames. We just had student or some crap.
Right.
It was an AD username, but it was just generic. Like we all logged in using the same one. Like they didn't give us individual accounts until later. Yeah. Now I remember, so I taught 1 year at a high school computers, and my classroom, I had a computer lab, and it was right off of the library. And I got a call one time from a teacher at the middle school. She got a Novell net message from a student at the high school with something derogatory to her. Oops. So like she had to send screenshots and all that kind of stuff. And then at that school district was uppity. They made whoever was writing the person up, call the parent. The school didn't do it. You had to do it and call the parent and tell them. And this lady was like, "Oh, okay, no problem." That was it. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. My mom would have beat my ass. Like, gosh, kids today. I was like, oh my gosh. I couldn't do it more than a year. I was like, nope, teaching is not for me. It's not my thing. Nope, hate it. Kids didn't care. Nobody, forget it.
I got to say, teaching in the private or independent schools is a bit nicer. You don't have to deal with a lot of the bureaucracy that is, school districts and governments and that kind of stuff. So there's definitely some freedom there. But then, yes, sometimes it can be difficult regardless.
Joe said he had it scheduled to unfreeze the machines at a certain time. Then they ran scripts that would run all the definition, EDR, Windows updates, and then just before building open, refreeze the machine. That's pretty cool. I didn't know it was still around. I mean, it was an amazing program. But yeah, you should look it up because it's great for older machines too. Yeah. The old versions were so cool. Yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna look up the new one because I think
it's Farnonics. They're still the company that made it originally, but now it works for Mac, PC, and server.
Oh, that's awesome.
Their logo.
See, they didn't have anything Mac back then that I remember.
And their logo is still up Polar Bear. That's really cool.
Yeah, no kidding.
So ransomware, just reboot the computer. That's a great one. A lot of companies should do that. Now, as far as Mac, something similar for Mac, and it really wasn't, but it was. They used at ease, where all you had was icons. I remember that. Like, all you had was icons for every program that you were able to access. You just had icons.
Yeah,
I thought that was the coolest thing at ease, back then.
Same.
So yeah, you just load whatever programs you want people to access, and then they log in with their little username and password, and that's all they saw was those folders. Because it was like file folders. Yeah. You click the tab and
I worked on a project for the university when I worked there. And we built a lab that was all Pixie boot. So we used iSCSI to boot Windows, and all the machines would just go back to steady state. They'd reboot. They'd pull down a new copy of the Windows image and boot up. And so the neat thing about that was we had a menu built that when you Pixie booted, it would say, what version of Windows do you want? Because the lab that we had it in was a continuing education lab. So like if the people were teaching Photoshop, they would select the Photoshop image. If they were teaching Microsoft Office, they could select which version of Office they were teaching. Yeah, and they could load the Windows image for that. So yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that. I wish we had seen it go further on, but we.
Yeah. Well, one of the neat things I can remember, at the school district was having to go to the classrooms and pop in the Norton Ghost disk. And then network, re-image a machine across the network. I mean, it was cool back then. I can't believe we could do that.
The cool thing about the Pixie boot is there were no hard drives in the workstations. So all the workstations Pixie boot, and their drives were technically iSCSI images that were on the bigger server in the back room. It was like we've come full circle. We've gone back to dumb clients and and terminals.
Right? Yeah. iClass was similar. It didn't use Pixie boot though. It used the predecessor, which was RPL.
Okay.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, and it was funny. In the mornings, you'd power it on. There, a classroom would have 30 machines, and in our high school, we had 2 groups of 30, and they all booted off of a 386 SX16.
Ooh.
Oh,
so you turn them on, it would take several minutes. And it used what was called IBM baseband, which had like a telephone line style connector. So all the machines were daisy chained together using this.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, how hard is it to find this hardware now? I mean, you've got a few pieces, but like, how hard is it to come by machines anymore?
Yeah, you can still find them. It all depends on what you want to do. As far as like iClass is concerned, you can pretty much run that on anything. You could run it on an IBM. Our network was IBM PS2s. So we had Model
Okay.
25s and Model 3286s. So I have a
Okay.
Model 3286 because I have to. The Model 25 is the one that looks like an all-in-one where you've got the monitor.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I see them. I see them. They are available. I see them for sale from time to time. So there's actually a guy not too far from me who's trying to get me to stop by and buy all of his PS2s. But
So Chris, you buy all the PS2s, you load them into the van, you drive to VCF Midwest.
yeah,
You sell
Yeah.
the PS2s, you get the money.
Fund your whole
and
trip. No
You
problem.
fund your whole trip.
That's
But
pretty
yeah.
cool, though.
yeah, you can still find the hardware. But yeah, you could pretty much run iClass on
Interesting.
anything. I haven't found any baseband cards. Now, my friend Kevin Moonlight, who we've seen at different shows and who co-exhibited with me once, is really in the token ring, which is
Okay.
another way to network things. And but yeah,
I find I just get the munchies after I use token ring.
Now, what's funny, I can so
Uh,
my uncle had a degree in IT and stuff
Yeah.
like that, and my brother and I would go up and he would teach us computer stuff and then give us some of his old stuff, and that's really how we got into it. He
Yeah.
would give us some of his old stuff and or put together something for us. We'd screw it up and take it back, and he'd reinstall the OS and stuff, and we did that quite a bit of times. But I can remember, I thought it was the neatest damn thing. He had a coax, BNC network.
yes, 10 base 2.
10 base. Yep. BNC network.
Yep.
And thought it was the coolest damn thing ever. He'd get on the dial up and then he'd, share the stuff, between computers. But it's crazy how things have come, even since then,
Yeah.
It's absolutely not. But you're talking about like the IBM classroom using like a telephone type connector, because our computer lab was set up like that with the LCs. They used the Apple Talk, and then they had the the phone cables go. Well, it wasn't Apple Talk; it was Local Talk. They shared like the dot matrix printers in the lab. Like there was one on each end, and then everyone was connected with the telephone lines. But that's what it was set up in elementary school, was like that.
So I think I've told the story in junior high. We had a token ring network in our computer lab. They were all Pentium 1s, I think, or Pentium 2s.
See, I don't remember them doing any BNC style stuff in school.
So I think they were Windows 95 or maybe Windows 98. I know would have been Windows 95. They're Windows 95 machines.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember we used to go in and someone would just slightly loosen a terminator and the end of the BNC network, and so that the network would be down, and Mr. Dodd, our computer teacher, would get like super crazy frustrated. And he'd be like, all right, kids, you guys play Ski Free and Chips Challenge while I try to figure out why this network is not working.
And Terminator.
And it was just taking the Terminator, or you just take one computer we know wasn't going to be used, we just unscrew the BNC connector ever so slightly in the back of the machine.
It looked like it was plugged in.
And so it looked like it was plugged in, and he would spend hours looking for the network outage.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. It's sad, really, because he left. Yeah, pretty sure he left on stress leave at one point.
Oh no!
We were terrible shits.
Kids are horrible.
Yeah.
You don't know any better than
Yeah. My
just
high
mess
school
around,
tried to
it's
cheap
fun.
out, so they put things out on bid, and they got these computers. They were 46 systems. They had monitors that were like 0.42 dot pitch or something. They were just
Holy
awful.
crap!
And they were made by KFC. And I said, these guys are supposed to make chicken, not computer monitors. But it's like Ketchiton, Fumoshima, something. But anyway,
Yeah.
Fukushima.
They were going to work a DeskJet printer. So they bought these little print share things hooked into the parallel port, and phone lines that connected to those as well. It never worked. Yeah. And eventually, they wised up and put an Ethernet. But yeah, it's just kind of funny the shortcuts that my school district tried to take.
Oh
well, everybody talks about government in a military grade. It's like, remember, everything is the cheapest possible RFP. Like,
absolutely. Well, especially with schools. Schools are limited funding anyway.
Correct.
There's only so much money to go around when it comes to schools, so they try to get as cheap as possible.
Definitely.
Best bang for their buck, and that doesn't always pan out sometimes.
Yeah.
So, I guess we didn't say hello to anybody in the chat.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So we'll just run through the chat real quick and say hello to everybody, and then we'll talk about acquisitions. Hey Joe, hey Sloopy, Eric, CDI, CDI, Tom Barber. He doesn't count.
Yeah.
He's not a real person. Sloopy K-Mac. Hey, Will, how's it going? 1Bits here. Javier's here, but he doesn't count unless he puts 12 volts to ground. Rudy from Rudy's Retro Intel. Curtis Boyle. You are late, Curtis, but that's okay. We'll forgive you. Someone named Trina, who apparently couldn't be bothered to be here tonight, but is in the chat for some reason. And it looks like, and Scarlet Thief 4 Ikuda is here. So thank you guys. We know you have your choice in Friday evening entertainment, and someday we will surpass ABC's TGIF to be the number one thing on
That's
Friday
true.
night people to watch that people can watch.
30 years from now, people will be watching this instead of reruns of
Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World. Yeah,
Could happen.
they'll do a reboot 30 years from now.
Yeah. So yeah, anybody have any new acquisitions this week? I know that you talked about some Novell stuff you had, Frank, but is there anything else that you got this week that you want to show off?
Those didn't come this week. Those were last week's stuff. Not
Can you
really retro tech stuff, but I did get a
Oh yes.
new game console. I got one of
Ooh.
the Asus ROG Ally. I was looking at getting a Steam Deck, but then I found this, and this does way more because this is an actual Windows computer. So like I can run, Steam stuff on this, but I can actually play World of Warcraft on this.
Now, in fairness, you can also play World of Warcraft on the Steam Deck.
Who cares? I can play it on this.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will do Xbox games and everything as well. This has Xbox built in because it's got the Microsoft version on this, so you could do the Xbox game type stuff with this too.
Which you
so
can
it's
also
pretty
now
neat.
do. You can also do it on an Amazon Fire Stick.
I've never used one of those.
So apparently, the word is out that Microsoft is looking to just move everything to streaming for gaming.
Huh.
Seems to be their future plans. That seems to be, and that game consoles, as we know them, as being boxes that you purchase, may cease to exist. They might actually be subscription services.
I wouldn't be surprised, honestly.
I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, I don't know. The jury's still out, but like right now, you can get Xbox Live. I can't remember what it's called. There's a subtitle under it, but it allows you to play it on the Amazon Fire Stick. So you can you have an Xbox, you can connect your Xbox controller to your Amazon Fire Stick and just sit there and play Xbox games through your internet connection. Basically, So it's all streamed to the Azure cloud, which is playing, an Xbox. It's emulating an Xbox, or not emulating an Xbox. It is an Xbox somewhere that's allowing you to play the game.
Our future retro tech enthusiasts aren't going to have anything. Not to be a downer, but
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't like
when
this.
everything's in the cloud, it's kind of.
Well, that goes back to the whole "don't stop killing video games" things that we talked
Yeah.
about a couple of weeks ago. There's a petition now to try to stop. So basically, at the end of the game's development life, so when it's finally not making any more money, that it's provided to either they patch it, which it probably won't, or they provide some ability to the community to patch it,
right.
so that a game can continue on and not have to call home. Right, like almost all Ubisoft games now have to call home. So if there's no internet connection, the game doesn't work. Right, which means when the servers inevitably turn off for calling home, the game will just cease to work completely, which is what happened with there's a racing game. I'm trying to remember the name of this.
Yeah, I think I read that story somewhere.
Yeah. Anyway, long story short, I think from archiving purposes, for in perpetuity to make things, in 20, 30 years, kids are going to want to see how we game. So it'd be kind of cool to show them, that you can still whip out a copy of World of Warcraft and play it on a VM on your Raspberry Pi 17, in 2037.
Love it.
So anyway, I got a pile of shit this past week, actually. Not to curse too much. I know Chris loves my cursing.
Schist is an igneous rock.
Correct.
For reference.
A schist is also a non-Jewish woman that isn't it? That
Shiksa?
a shiksa, that's it.
Oh, okay.
That's Yiddish.
Yiddish, yeah. So behind me is actually something I think might interest you guys.
Oh.
Okay.
Let's see it.
It's a this is new in box. So I actually was given this as part of a lot of Apple stuff. This is
Okay.
Intel new in box 1U rack server.
Oh, that's awesome.
Wow.
But the neat thing about it is it's Oh, heavy as all shit. Oh.
Wow, look at that.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's got dual
I see the
IDE
saran
drive
wrap
bay.
stuff.
Still has the saran wrap on it.
That is
It's dual socketed 370.
Oh, that's
Okay.
pretty neat.
Socket 370. So it's around the Windows 2000, Windows 98 era. I'm just going to open it up real quick so you can see the
Well,
inside.
he's peeling the film off.
Oh, I know.
It's becoming a reality.
So I'm probably bringing one of these to Midwest with me on the airplane. It's going to be fun. I actually have a big box that I'm going because apparently I'm allowed
How
to bring.
delightful a pox.
I'm allowed to bring 100 pounds. And it
Really?
yeah, it's like I can pay extra for it. It's like $70
Okay,
or
gotcha.
$80, but I can bring a 100-pound box.
Gotcha.
Come on, let go.
Rudy said when he would go to a friend's house to play on the C64, I had to call home on a rotary phone. Probably
Was
using a party line. Did they have those in Canada?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Did they have a party line? We invented the telephone. Gosh darn it.
Oh, I didn't realize that Alexander Graham Bell was Canadian, eh?
He was. Well, he's British, but he was Canadian.
Thomas.
That's awesome. Hey, Thomas.
So you can see.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Look at that.
So the only downside is
That's
it
clean.
is capacitor plagued.
Oh, yes. Look at those. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
I
Look at that
believe
one in
it.
the center.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Right. But it's all gigabyte. So all the
That's pretty
interior
cool, though.
is made by Gigabyte. But you can see like it's essentially a desktop
Yeah.
motherboard.
And a rock.
But then they put in like strange sideways slotted RAM,
Yep.
and they removed all the add-on cards
Look at that.
except for the one PCI that's just in a daughter board there.
That is
Right.
not what I wanted.
So you get one PCI card.
Yep.
Choose
And-
wisely.
Yeah, and you get 2 bays for IDE drives.
Nice. And then a CD-ROM in there too. Yeah.
So yeah, and you get the laptop CD-ROM thing. But yeah, it was. I got 2 of them. We found a guy who was the IT guy for our local radio station and television station,
Yeah.
And he'd been there for 29 years, and he basically never threw anything out. So I also got. What else did I get? Let me 1 second.
All kinds of things behind you there.
Yeah, he's back in his retro room now.
Oh, I see. I see. Okay.
He was in the garage
Really?
for quite a while.
You're Canadian. That better be a Naboo.
On top of all the PC stuff that he had, which we haven't actually collected all of it yet, he did also have a pile of Macintoshes. So
Oh, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
I grabbed a Centrus 650,
Oh, nice. Yeah.
and I also got a PowerPC 7200.
Okay. Those are neat.
So
Nice.
there are probably 5 or 6 more machines left, or 6 or 8 more early beige Macintosh PCs left that I have to go pick up. The other stuff that we got was IDE, or sorry, not IDE, ISA cards, like
Oh, awesome.
hundreds.
Those are good to have.
Oh, wow.
I mean, hundreds. And so one of the things I'm bringing to VCF Midwest is I actually have a box of brand new ISA network cards, never
Oh,
been
nice.
used.
That's
Nice.
fantastic.
So I'm going to slap a channel sticker on the box and hand them out. Walk around handing them out.
Love it.
So
That's great. Good for you.
if you're going to be at VCF Midwest, come get your free ISA network card and channel sticker.
Supplies are limited.
Supplies
Yeah.
are limited. And then I also got 2. I don't know what they're called. They're like the Mirador Max, but they're the older ones. They're like a gray, not a silver.
Oh,
color.
yeah.
I can't remember. They have a name on them. G4s. So I got 2 of those as well. And
Awesome.
that's all that I have here. The garage is also still full from stuff that I picked up. But we're going back hopefully this weekend
Nice.
to the guy's house. So we were probably this size of a room into his garage, and there was more in the basement, and
Oh
there
my
was more
gosh.
upstairs. So like pretty stoked to get back there and pick some stuff. There was a couple of boxes they hadn't gone through. There's a lot of television stuff. So there's keyboards that are specific for production. So you had a bunch of like the
That's
really
pretty
nice cherry keyboards, but they have like all the function keys on it are specifically for a piece of software.
Sure.
For like actual TV production.
That's really cool.
So I'm very excited to get my hands on a few of those. I think they look really cool. So
that's neat.
Anyway, I'm going to try to bring one of these servers down. I might throw it on the free table. I might give it to a YouTuber or two that have some interest in them. But yeah, I'd like to see them used for something. It's cool that they're new old stock. They've never been opened before. I just don't understand how a company buys something and never uses it. That drives but you know what it's like, Chris. You get into a big company, they need 5 of something, they buy 10 of them just so they have spares.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
So
well, a lot of times companies expect a certain number of DOAs or machines that are going to crap out quick, so they buy an extra stack just in case.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize you can actually buy, if you buy enough from Bell or from Dell and like HP, you can buy it without a warranty. Like if you're going to self-warranty it, like if your company's big enough that they can self-warranty, they will cut a cost on it and not provide you a warranty.
Yep.
Interesting.
Right? It's like fleet vehicles. You can do the same thing with fleet vehicles.
Yep.
Right? You can buy them without a warranty. So that's kind of neat. So I can't think of any reason. But I suppose if you're in like a gigantic, like if you're Microsoft, you're not calling Dell when your computer stopped working.
True.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not waiting for a Dell rep or tech to come in and fix your, you're just going to be like, all right, go to IT. They're going to give you a new laptop, and then we'll take this one and we'll, I don't know, liquidate it, keep it for parts.
What was one of the model of the IBM Classroom computers? Because I put in IBM Classroom and I'm just getting a bunch of like literature and
just getting a bunch of Chris's videos. Is first
that happens. Yeah, PS2 model 30, 286 was common. PS2 model 25.
Here we go.
Pretty common.
Yep. 25 and 30. That's what she said. Oh, okay, I see it. I'm trying to look to see what they look like.
Yeah,
and I've seen a lot of these machines.
Yeah, such school districts bought them because. What was it? PS2. Oh goodness, I'm gonna get this wrong. IBM Museum would slap me, but I think anything below like a 35, maybe I think it was non-micro.
Oh, here's the 25, the all-in-one type. Yep, I see that. Okay. Now, what would they run like as a server essentially for these things?
So we used a Model 80.
80. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Model 80. I don't think they
is the Model 80 the one with the handle?
Yeah.
Yeah. My friend refers to it as the hernia.
70 here.
Yeah, looks the same as a 70.
I see a 60 tower.
Yep, looks the same as a 60 tower. Yeah.
Holy cow.
And it has a sticker on the back that says it's 2-man lift.
Yes.
Jeez, it was. Here's a 95 XP. This thing's cool looking.
Those things are expensive.
Yeah, it's got 15 hours, 41 minutes, and it's already at $800 plus 93.11 shipping.
It'll probably go for.
That'll go for a bit. Yep. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't see another one of them, but that thing's cool. Here's an 80. Yep, $200. Yep, that is cool. That is really neat.
So one of my cohorts in our local Retrotech club, he got his Model 80. He refers to it as the hernia. And it was a doorstop for years at a local computer store. Like they needed to keep a door propped open, so they would just use this Model 80 to keep it propped open.
Oh yeah, the 80 has a handle. That thing is ginormous. Holy crap!
A couple years ago at East, somebody was selling them for like $25.
Oh, so no kidding.
Like S and Mac 84 I think Mac 84. Yeah, they picked up a couple of them. So yeah.
And then put their backs out doing it.
At the same
they
time.
did. I believe it.
Yeah.
I carried it around
heavy.
everywhere he went. I think.
Yeah.
So
the other problem with them is, if I'm not mistaken, they're all what's the card standard that microchannel? Yeah.
Yep.
Which means everything to go in it is stupid expensive.
Yeah, I recently bought my very first microchannel machine. I bought it on a whim because it came with the Model M keyboard, and then I got hooked on it. And I've put more money into that than I want to talk about.
Have you bought the new microchannel hard drive controller thing?
I have both the MCID and the MCID CF. Yes.
And how do you find them?
They're good products. The only challenge is that, and I actually started making some X threads on this where I was trying different operating systems. Since microchannel and IDE was not a common thing, it was really not every operating system is going to work. So, like, I could not get Novell to serve on this thing. Hey,
no kidding.
Huh. So yeah, we could not get it to serve on that thing. So yeah, but yeah, so it's a good card. It's just you have to understand that there's those limitations. For most people that are doing like 98 or 3.1, they're going to be fine. But if you want to do something obscure, because I made the mistake of asking X, hey, which operating system should I put on this next?
Linux.
And then I got like 90 operating systems.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, some of them.
You know what you need to put on it is Temple OS.
No, it won't run Temple OS. Temple OS is a 64-bit operating system.
Is
No
it?
kidding.
Yes.
I thought they had a really old. Oh, I suppose it is. Yeah, no, you're right.
No, God said 64 bits and 640 by 480, so it had to be.
Right.
That's right.
You know the story.
Yeah, it's of course it's.
I don't
it's
think
in,
JC's on tonight.
JC's not here. No, Jesus.
Yeah,
has,
usually he's here.
Usually he's here. Usually, if he's not here right away, he shows up within 3 days.
That's right.
Okay.
Give it a few.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I remember. Who was it? Someone did a Temple OS review. It's the first time I'd heard about it, and I was like, "What is this?" And I went and looked at it. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is amazing."
Terry Davis was a very smart person. There is
there's no doubt about it. But
compilers where you can compile images as part of the source code.
Yeah,
that's kind of neat. But yeah,
it
was definitely. If you have any risk of a seizure, you better not load it up. I'm just going to say that.
If you really enjoy the hot dog theme from Windows 90 or 3.1, you're gonna love Temple OS.
Yes.
Right? Like it's a prerequisite. You have to enjoy that Windows 90 or Windows 3.1 theme.
Yes. Yes. The compiler was called Holy C, and I think it was the Red Sea file system, as I seem to recall, or something like that. So yeah.
And he's passed now, right? Like
unfortunately, yeah, it's very tragic. Yeah. But yeah, he's no longer with us.
Yeah, but does people keep somebody maintains it for him now? Obviously, yeah.
Well, they at least host it. I don't know if they're making any updates to it, but yeah, you can still download it. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's funny. Yeah. I should install this and tell all the teachers at the school that this is what we're moving to for an
Oh
OS.
my gosh. We finally figured out what's going to make these computers run faster.
OS.
And it's less resource intensive.
Yeah.
Temple OS.
Runs in Ring 0 too, so no security. Granted, it doesn't have any networking capabilities either. So.
Well, that's even more secure.
Yes.
No networking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So, what else is going on in people's lives?
Just been busy. We just put a new addition on the back of the barn. I put the metal roofing on it last night. It's 16 by 36, so I'm going to be putting square bales of hay and stuff under it on the one side, and put a workshop on the other side, so I actually have somewhere to put the tools
don't lie.
in one place.
It's just for computer storage.
Hay bales, square bales.
Yes, sorry.
The square bales are less expensive.
Which happen to be exactly the same size as standard Rubbermaid, 60-gallon
tote boxes.
Boxes.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes I wonder if the retro computer stuff is less expensive than farm animals.
Yeah.
It depends on what day you ask me.
Yeah.
That's
it also
true
depends
too.
on what type of farming you're doing, right?
That's true too. Well, I did buy that farming
farm?
simulator setup. The static
why
steering wheel. I know, but there's certain equipment that I'm not gonna buy.
It's like people who do PC Builder, like the simulator, the PC build simulator. I'm like, why? Just go build a computer.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I had a bit of an acquisition drought. I think it was several months ago. I only spent $22 on stuff, and it was basically buying some floppy disk holders. The most boring thing ever. But recently, feeling a little better now, right? Recently, I've gotten back into it. So
that's the way it goes in cycles.
Yeah. I bought not this one because I have it, but I bought another Panasonic printer like this.
Nice.
Retrotech or Di and I are working on a project to get the ribbons working better with those. So he has one now too. I figured that would just be easier.
That's right. It is.
I'm pretty sure that was my childhood printer.
Oh, okay. And then this is going to shock everybody, but I bought another LTE 5000. Now this one though has the 640 by 480 screen.
Ooh.
And I was watching it on bid, and I was ready to pay whatever price because I love those screens.
Oh yeah.
And I did an X thread on this, but it had a couple of problems with it, but I was able to get it going. And then I have a friend, Bill Lewis, who lives in Bethesda, Maryland, and whenever he comes across things, he sends them to me. So I've got a whole tote over here, and you see that little e-machines as well.
I was gonna say, who bought the Gateway? Because that's unforgivable.
The Gateway?
Yeah.
Right here?
No, not that Gateway. The one over there. It's an
the
e-machines.
e-machines?
Same thing. Same.
Oh,
company.
yeah. It's actually kind of interesting. In typical e-machines fashion, I guess they ran out of a certain type of processor. So the spec sticker on it says it has one type, but then they've got a little special sticker that says now with this processor. It's like the type of thing you would do with like bologna in a store, like now
Right.
4 extra
Markdown.
slices. E-machines did with computers. So that's kind of fun. But yeah, so I've been buying things to support these. I've got all of these ISA, and I've got a Visa Local Bus SCSI card. So we're going to be testing all of that out.
Awesome.
And,
Are you possibly putting a blue SCSI in them?
That might not be a bad idea. I have this one tower here, and something I got that I was excited about in the hall that Bill Lewis gave me. Hey, look.
Oh, I like
that's
it.
my
Look how
that's
nice
my
that is.
childhood case. I have the exact same case.
So this is a Mitsumi double speed, which is not IDE. It is Mitsumi standard, right?
Right.
So I thought about putting an IDE drive here and a SCSI drive here. Why not? That would be kind of fun.
And then you can do a video where you're like drag race them.
Yeah.
To see which is faster.
So
that's funny.
But yeah, so I've been buying things to like test out the things I have, and then of course I bought a compact LTE, so I needed to buy more wireless network cards, and it goes on and on. So.
I had a friend when in college who legit thought they were called e-mechanics.
Yeah,
that's a hoot.
Well, we talked about race to the bottom. At the bottom of the barrel, slightly under the goo that's at the bottom of the barrel, that's where you find e-machines.
Pretty much.
Oh,
yeah.
I got a compact not too long ago.
You did?
Right here.
I know I liked you.
Oh yes, I remember this.
I wanted a Pentium 25 or 75 machine.
Yeah.
And I picked up this because it was in super nice condition and it was very clean and it worked well.
Yeah.
So I want to get this guy going because
I
spent a lot of time on a Pentium 75.
Does everybody remember when back in the day they would put the plastic on the back of the cases? Hewlett Packard and Compaq used to always do that, where they'd like finish the back of the case with a nice plastic cover. Good times.
Pentium 75 right there.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, look at that.
Yep.
5000 Pentium 75.
Pentium 75s. I mean, it was just I used it for a few years. Pentium 75. Like it was just a great machine. It was a huge upgrade from what I had at the time, and I was like, I just loved it. So nostalgia. I had to find a Pentium 75 to mess around with.
I went from a 386 16, I believe, to a Pentium 130.
Oh wow,
that's a good jump.
Or 133, I should say. So that was
that's a good jump.
That was my jump. Yeah.
So Ryan, I'll have to send you a picture because you mentioned that this was your childhood case.
Yes.
I actually had a picture of me sitting at my college dorm desk with this machine by its side.
So my 133, that was in that, like I had a gigantic 386 tower that was massive, which I would love to find again. I know the case, if I see it, I know it. But then when my parents were like, "Oh, we need to upgrade," my uncle was an IT guy, much like your story. My uncle was an IT guy. He used to give us everything anyway. He came down for a visit and he said, "All right, time for a new computer," and he went and bought.
Yeah.
You know, I remember he gave me a Windows 90. I think it was Windows. I want to say this was 97, so it was probably Windows 95 CD. But it was literally the first time I'd ever seen a burnt CD, and it had a handwritten serial key on it.
Oh,
and it
yeah.
was Windows 95.
Yep.
That's great.
He's like, "Don't lose this. You'll need this if you ever have to reinstall Windows."
Yeah.
It's like, that's funny.
That's awesome.
What was it? That reminds me, I got something not long ago. Where did it go? Oh yeah.
Oh, Chris, I got a new hat.
You did?
I did.
Let's see it. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah. Sorry, squirrel. Then I saw what Frank's holding up. Yeah.
Right.
Love the hat. Love the box copy of Windows. That's awesome.
See,
I had to get it.
Yeah.
I was like, it's the 3.1.
I like how it says new.
I know. But what was it? There was something on here that I thought was hilarious because it came with something. A free oh, I think it was the one it says if you wanted it on 5 1/4 inch discs, they would give you them. If you needed them on 5 1/4 inch disc, send a card in or something for if you wanted on 5 1/4 discs.
Nice.
So I thought that was so neat. But yeah, Windows 3.1, 3.5 inch discs.
Nice.
For distribution in the United States of America only.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Take it across the border.
I just thought that was
neat. Got to cross the border for those.
Funny.
So
yeah. So What's going
One of
on?
the other things that came this week
Oh,
that was finally done. I think I showed you and Trina, but I don't think anybody else saw it. Was my original logo when I first started doing the
Yes,
on the YouTube streams. So it was a little more Apple themed, because I essentially pretty much had only Apple stuff at that time. And a family friend of mine painted this for me to hang up in the shed, and I just picked it up this week.
Oh wow! Oh, that's beautiful.
They painted the logo.
That is so. Oh my goodness! Wow.
So it came out fantastic.
That's lovely.
Great job. But they're one of those people where nothing turns out exactly the way they want it. So like they keep messing with it, keep messing with it. So finally she was like, nope, I sprayed the clear on it. I'm done. Like you gotta take it. Because it still doesn't look perfect. And it didn't come out, the way they wanted.
So,
I think it looks great.
It's hilarious.
So are you going to hang that on the wall back there?
Yep, it's going to be hanging in here in the shed.
Nice.
So I just thought it was awesome, but I wanted to show it because I just picked it up this week.
I had to hide this because I'm not allowed to have it on stream because YouTube rules.
I gotta come back.
Well, I'll show it to you. It's a handmade Monte Cristo.
Oh,
logo.
that's cool. That's really neat.
Cigar company.
Yeah.
And it was actually bought in Havana, Cuba. They paid $77 US for it. It's on the back of it.
That's really cool, though.
You can buy them at the Monte Cristo factory, and I don't like having it in the background because people will get weirded out by tobacco
really cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there was anything else recent that came.
I don't think I have anything else recent myself.
Remember.
I'm super excited for VCF Midwest. I'm counting on the days.
That's
I'm
coming up very
looking forward to it.
You will love it.
The only problem is between now and then school starts, so I have to I'm prepping to get school ready. I'm getting all the computers ready. So it's been it's like an uphill struggle to some fun times.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm looking forward to school starting too. I enjoy the beginning of the school year. It's always fun.
That's good.
All right, but then the dreaded winter starts.
Yeah,
I'm not looking forward to having to put all my nice cars away and drive.
Oh yeah,
the boring SUV again. And I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah,
it's sad. But Frank finally saw the light this week with his Land Rover.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I've got so much money into that.
Very excited. He was like, "I'm so excited! I'm buying a Land Rover." I'm like, "You're gonna regret it."
I have put so much money into that damn car. I said, "I'm done. Finally done. Done. I'm putting a for sale sign on it. I'm done."
You gotta do what Hoovie's Garage did. He dug a hole and put his Land Rover in it.
Yeah, believe me, with as much money as I paid, I could have had a swimming pool.
I'm a boring person. I've got a Toyota Avalon and a Lexus ES 350 and a Chrysler Pacifica. But anyway,
we don't talk about this.
But
we're looking at buying one of those Kia Carnivals.
Don't do it. Their engines are terrible. Unless you want free engines for
we're trying to find something big enough that when we go on trips, it's big enough to actually fit everybody comfortably.
Buy a Honda
minivan, Toyota Sienna.
Yeah,
I know minivans are boring, but
that's why we didn't want a minivan. Like, oh, this doesn't look like a minivan.
Grand Highlander, Lexus TX.
Yeah.
Well, the Highlander's nice. We like the Highlander.
Now the other option, Frank, the other option, if you really want to go with it, is a Mercedes Sprinter 4-wheel drive van.
No, they're nice.
The Sprinter vans are
I like
nice.
them. Well, you know what? I saw recently somebody had a Volkswagen Eurovan.
Yep.
Is it
a
Eurovan? It was cool looking. I was like, boy, that's neat looking.
The only problem with the Eurovan is and it's like anything European. If you don't work on it yourself, you're going to pay a lot of money to get it fixed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because of how expensive the crap is for like the Land Rover, and you got to take it to an actual Land Rover dealership. Nobody wants to touch them. No. So I bought the transmission lines were starting to leak. So I bought new transmission lines. Yeah, I bought transmission lines, and I changed them myself last week or the week before in the driveway. And oh my gosh, it was a pain in the ass. I was so mad because they're bent in like 65 different directions. And fishing them through, what a huge pain in the butt. So I got them on, refilled the transmission and stuff, and then I got that working, no problem. And then I was just moving them because we had somebody coming to look at the driveway to have it paved, and I moved all the cars out of the driveway so they could do all their measurements and stuff because they were doing my my in-laws' driveway, and I parked it off to the side. and I let it run for a while. And Jess texts me. She goes, "The Land Rover's smoking." I'm like, "Oh, great." I was like, "It's probably just extra transmission fluid that came down on the, when I filled it, that came down onto the exhaust." I said, "No problem." She's, "No, it's like smoking." So I looked, and sure enough, something blew under the hood and splashed all over the hood. And I'm like, "Screw it! I'm not putting a damn dime in this thing. I'm done." Done. I was so
was
mad.
it Doug DeMuro who bought the CarMax warranty on a
and got like
Oh my gosh,
$100,000 coverage off his $4,000 warranty? Yes, that was him.
Jesus.
And they quit doing warranties on account of Doug DeMuro. Like,
yep, they actually he was the reason they got rid of them. Yep, mostly because he was telling people about it, and then they had an influx of warranty sales, and they were like, "What's going on?"
yeah.
Well, with the Land Rover, it's like I got a good deal on it, and it had super low miles. Well, not super low, but low miles and stuff on it. And I changed the wheel sensors, which was what was wrong with it when I bought it, because the speedometer wasn't working. Well, they have individual wheel sensors on that do the tachometer on those. So I changed those, fixed it, no problem. That worked. But then, like I said, the transmission lines were rusted, so they started leaking, and I'm like, okay, great. It was $300, over $300 for the transmission lines.
Yep.
For the 2 lines, and they're like,
I don't want to say I told us so, but
yep. So I was like, forget it. I'm not putting anywhere. Well, I'll tell you, the hitch for it is proprietary for the bumper.
Yep.
It's made at a weird angle and stuff. It's not a normal square one like you have on most cars and trucks. It's their own. Like, it's like a triangular shape thing on the metal that fits down into this, and it's got a rod that goes through and locks it. That was $500 just for that, just for the hitch. If you want to tow something, it was $500 just to buy that piece that goes in.
Yeah, John's right. Old British carps are terrible.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than a smelly old carp.
Now, I'll tell you.
Especially a British one.
There's somebody down the road from me who has an actual international harvester pickup truck.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And it's in decent shape, runs, drives. It's ready to be restored. The interior is original. It all looks good. Runs and drives on its own power and stuff. So I told Jess, I was like, okay, I want to get that. I mean, it's not something that I drive all the time, but I want to take it to a body shop and have it repainted and restored. Yeah, and then I just want to be able to. I don't paint.
Nobody paints.
I don't do that. I don't want
you
that.
Just follow a few YouTube videos, and it's
Get your brush out, a little bit of primer. You'll be all set.
I start watching Bob Ross, and I'll have happy little clouds everywhere on this thing.
Fine.
There are no such thing as mistakes, just happy accidents. I'll just have happy accidents.
We're gonna put this everywhere. Tree here. You tell anybody about it, I'm gonna come to your house and kill you.
but
Bob Ross is really angry today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, the truck looks great though. I mean, it is in very good shape. The frame was solid. Everything looked great on it. So I was like, I want to buy it and take it to a body shop and have it restored. Yeah. But I want it to. Frank just retro bright it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll take it to a body shop. You do retro brighting?
No,
they won't have a clue what I'm talking about.
You got to do the
retro brighting.
The Derek from Vice Grip Garage. He uses 1 grit. It's a 1 grit sandpaper. It says he takes a cinder block and just rubs it on the outside.
Oh my!
It's a 1 grit sandpaper.
But yeah, I just thought that would be a neat one to fix up and just take out when you're just going to just driving about, not going anywhere, because you can't really take anyone else. Like, it's 2-passenger truck essentially. But it has the wooden bed with the metal sides. It has the tailgate still there, and it was in good shape too. And I was like, man, I don't know. I don't need another project. I just don't. But it's like, it's like every time I pass it, I'm like, man, I want that truck.
Well, you saw my friend bought a Mercedes today.
The car looks great.
Yeah, it's in great shape. $500. It's a 90. I think it's a 90. It's a turbo diesel.
Oh, turbo diesel.
But he used to race turbo diesels, so it's sort of his bag.
Yeah.
So he's pretty well knowledgeable in all of them, but he's done a couple of races in them. He did it in a Mercedes wagon, and he tells a story, which is an amazing story. Because the race takes place here in Newfoundland. Mm-hmm. We kind of all know the road, so we know like how to push the limits a little bit more than say somebody coming in who's never raced on our roads.
I've seen Tokyo Drift.
Yeah, so there's a spot where you would go down to this small community called Middle Cove, and it's a sort of a winding road. Mm-hmm. And anyway, he was in a stage. It's stage racing. So the car in front of him was a Porsche 911 Carrera 4. Very, very fast, very expensive car. And he said to the Porsche driver, "Hey, I'm going to be out there. I'm probably going to be on your bumper. I'm just letting you know that if you can, let me pass. I know these roads really well. I'm probably going to drive faster than you." And the Porsche driver looked over at his like John Deere tractor of a Mercedes over there, just going cluck, 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 and he kind of laughed off and was like, "No, it's not." Anyway,
Yeah.
It turns out, yep, it was in fact. He was on top of that Porsche, like white on rice. He was
Incredible.
Oh my gosh, that's
and the Porsche driver refused to move out of his way, so he eventually had to kind of bully his way past him.
Wow.
But it's amazing. I watch videos of it. You see this gigantic, like 4,000-pound turbo diesel Mercedes wagon just flooring it.
That's funny.
Right up on like 3 wheels going around turns. Like,
See, I've never been into NASCAR or racing or anything like that, but I remember my dad taking us to a dirt track race one time.
Well, those
I
are
thought
fun.
that was the coolest thing ever.
my favorite is dirt
Totally
track.
different.
Dirt track. What is it? 8 circle 8.
Oh yeah, like a figure 8 type.
Figure 8.
style.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So where they actually can crash into each other.
Oh god.
So they have to like avoid each other.
No,
Very
this was a
entertaining.
normal, like an oval
Just
track.
dirt track,
But I just thought it was the coolest thing because they could just go right off the side, and spin.
If you ever get up to the Pacific Northwest, go to what's it? Oh god, I can't remember the name. Dirtfish. It's a rally training school. You can actually take a class there. They use
cool.
all E30 BMWs, rear wheel drive BMWs
Okay.
from the 80s. That's what you drive.
No kidding.
And they teach you how to proper rally drive on dirt tracks. It's apparently a riot.
Speaking of Mercedes, like I can remember going to Israel for the first time, and I was shocked taking a cab, and it was like a brand new Mercedes.
Yeah, but
And I
that's
thought it
Europe.
was the weirdest thing. I was
That's
like,
Europe too.
There's
I was like-
Chevys
I was
over
like,
there.
"This is
Over
a
there,
cab."
yeah,
I was like, "This is a cab. That's so cool."
But the thing about it, they know like their turbo diesels, they'll do 1,000,000 miles before they have to do any problems.
You do maintenance
Right.
on it, normal maintenance, those things will run forever.
Yeah.
Yep.
The thing that killed
car
mine
will rot
was
out.
rot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The car will rot
mine
out
literally
before the
fell
engine
apart.
gives. Yeah.
The engine still ran.
Yep.
But the body just disintegrated.
Exactly. Yep.
I miss I had a 240 D.
Oh, yeah.
So non-turbo 4-cylinder diesel. It was a 82, I think.
4-cylinder.
Night, Rudy.
Yeah. Night, Rudy. I bought it just on a whim from a guy, and we were going to get it all written. But once we started digging into it, like the floors were gone. So I ended up selling the engine and transmission out of it, and some guy put it in a snowcat. And then we just scrapped it. Actually, I sent the dash to a guy in Tennessee. He paid for the dash. He paid to have it shipped from my house in Newfoundland.
No kidding.
He paid more for shipping than he did for the dash, but he was so happy because he has a perfect car.
Yeah.
But because the sun has destroyed the dash, the interior is
yeah.
shot. Right, but here in Newfoundland, that's not a problem because there's just very little noise on. So the dash is perfect. So he was so excited to get it. So I know that car lives on now in a few other cars.
It's been distributed.
Yeah, very much like our own
That's
hobby.
pretty
I mean, there are lots of times I'm sure that we sacrifice machines to make others live longer. So
Yep.
Oh, I've
Absolutely. We've all been there.
we've never done
We've all
that.
been there. Or how many machines over the last couple of years have I bought just because I needed a part or something
Right.
for the other machine?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Well, that's like this came with the Mac that I bought, and I couldn't figure out why.
Nice.
It's a carry or a caddy drive.
Yep.
There was a caddy drive.
Yep.
But however, the guy kept the faceplate, so he put a regular SCSI pop-out CD-ROM drive in it, or the company did years ago. But somehow this managed
Kept
to
the
stay
faceplate. That's crazy.
with the unit.
He's my hero. People who do that kind of
Hard
thing.
to find.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
So I have a SCSI external caddy drive CD-ROM drive out in my garage. That's sort of just
Pull it out and put it in that machine.
So I'm going to pull it out and put it in the back of
that's
the
awesome.
Mac. So
That's fantastic.
it actually has a caddy drive again.
That's really cool.
Love it.
Back in the Mac at the back of the ACK.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah. So I'm excited for VCF. It's countdown. It's 2 weeks today, I think.
Sounds about right. Have
yeah.
fun.
So,
yeah. It's got to be. Yeah.
2 weeks
Right?
till I arrive in Chicago, at least. I
You won't
arrive.
sleep while you're there, by the way, if you do it right. Anyway.
What's that?
So you won't sleep while you're there. You just hang out.
Oh,
with people.
I'm going to be very excited. I'm sure. I'm bringing a pile of stuff with me. I've got a box of Blackberries I'm bringing with me to put on the free
that's
table.
awesome.
I've got a bunch of network cards I'm going to give out. I'm bringing down a couple of computers that I promised people. It's cheaper for me just to bring with me than it is to ship them.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm very excited that always something going on somewhere at VCF. It makes sense.
No, he's asking, is there pretty much always a VCF going on somewhere?
Sorry.
No, they're spread out by a couple months usually.
Yeah.
There's what, 5 or 6 of them now, if that many. That might be.
I think it goes from it
West
doesn't
to
really go
east.
from right to
No.
left because it
East
goes
to-
east, west, not Midwest, but Southwest.
Yep.
SoCal.
Yep. And then there's the Midwest,
And then you
KF
also have-
already happened before that.
Yeah, and then you also have the sub events like the Midwest or the East swap meet.
Oh,
I think
they do
Southwest
that
does a swap
meet
meet
every
as
month,
well.
though, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm excited to bring all this stuff down. I bought luggage, which happened to end up looking. I don't know if you saw my Facebook post, Chris, but my luggage I had purchased. I bought it at an auction, not thinking it's a very lightly used set of Samsonite luggage. It was only.
Is it Mock Naga High? That was
actually.
popular in the day.
Anyway, I rolled it out of the auction house and I look at the luggage and I look at my Audi and I look at the luggage and I look at my Audi and it's the same color. I'm like,
Same color.
how did this happen?
That's hilarious.
Yes,
That's too
nicely
funny.
coordinated.
I was like, I feel like some very hoity-toity soccer mom who wanted like matching purse with her car. It's like,
You need your Mock Naga hide luggage, like
Yes.
on Alf when he was selling Terry Faith Cosmetics.
yes, that's right. But yeah, so I've got 2 new piece of luggage that I'm going to put in each other and bring down, and then I have a bunch of boxes, and hopefully by the time I come back, I might throw some clothes in a bag, possibly. Bring a laptop.
It's cheaper to buy clothes when you get here. Don't worry
Right.
about wasting
So-
luggage space
so-
on clothes. The airline will lose it anyway. Just buy
Yeah.
clothes when you get here.
True.
Well, that's my only
Go to
concern
Walmart.
is the airline lose stuff, but I only have one stop, and it's Montreal, and they're usually pretty
Oh,
good.
that's good.
So
Yep.
I'm not too concerned.
Yep.
But yeah, I paid for the hotel this week fully.
Awesome.
Almost had a heart attack. Conversion
Oh,
rate
I
killed me.
bet.
It's like $500 US. I was like, oh, that doesn't seem so bad. $900 Canadian. I was like, holy shoot.
Whoa.
Our dollar is terrible.
Mhm. Wow.
Oy.
But it is what it is. I'm excited.
Yep. That's awesome though.
So yeah,
Get
I
to
guess
see
if
a
you
lot of
guys-
good people, I'm sure.
I guess we can wind it down. Is there anybody streaming this weekend? Anybody in the chat streaming this week? I know John just posted that he's streaming tomorrow.
Yep.
Bad biologist.
His
Brian
normal
Thursday.
Saturday.
46
What's that?
repairs. Yes.
Yes, 46 repairs. Yes,
Yep.
exactly.
Awesome.
Other than that, I imagine Tech Ambrosia. I think her setup is fixed again, so she'll probably be streaming tomorrow.
Yep. Most likely. Yep.
And
then,
of course, Dave will be
Sundays,
on
yep.
with Dave.
Did Eric
so-
have a stream this weekend or no?
I'm not sure. Eric was in the chat. Eric, are you streaming this weekend?
Anybody put anything in the channel there?
Tomorrow, the Coco Nation
Coco
at 2
Nation,
p.m.
yeah.
Eastern.
Yeah,
Yep.
if you want a good nap, watch the Coco Nation.
Oh,
Good.
stop.
It's a good time to sleep. It's good.
That's not nice.
I just got Trina's not here to do it, so I gotta say it.
Comes on just before Judge Judy at 4.
Yeah. So you can watch a bit of Coco Nation, then go get the early bird special.
9 a.m. Saturday.
9 a.m.
Early
So
bird.
you got Eric, then John,
Yeah.
then the Coco Nation.
Right. Then
So
and then
yes,
Tech
on
Ambrosia.
Saturday. Yep.
There you go.
But see, 9 a.m. for Eric is 10:30 my time,
Right.
so it's like
Oh, that's right. He's
not
in
that
Central
early.
Time Zone. Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's not
Cool.
so bad.
all right, well, guys, very very big thank you to our special guest this evening, Retro Tech Chris.
Thanks for having me join. I had a
Hope to
blast.
see him more often, and maybe we can
Yep. Thank
twist
you
his
for
rubber
joining us.
arm to go to VCF Midwest in 2 weeks' time. Listen, if you can work remotely. There's, and it's the weekend, so it's like you don't need to work either.
I haven't used a single vacation day all year.
Oh,
well,
wow.
then shag it. You can just take the whole
Holy
thing.
cow,
Take
yeah.
time off.
Yeah.
Sure,
You're
take
pretty
it-
far
take-
into the year.
Bring the missus.
I'm sure that my wife would love to go to a retro event. She would.
No. You send her to the mall. The world's the largest mall is like literally 40 minutes away from the venue.
Oh, there's a big shopping mall out there. I see. Well,
Yeah. Apparently, it's like the second or third biggest in the United States.
no kidding.
It's on the. Hold on, I gotta find this. It's on VCF.
I gotta look it up. Now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's actually like on like local things, local attractions.
Yeah, tune in. We do this every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, it's the Woodfield Mall, one of the country's largest indoor malls.
No kidding.
That's pretty cool.
That is fun. Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Probably not.
But yeah,
here.
thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks
Thanks
for
everybody for
being
coming
here this
on.
evening. And yeah, have a fantastic week, guys. And if you want to hit that like button, feel free to do so. And again, we want to thank Chris and
That's right.
Frank and everybody in the chat. And we don't want to thank Trina because she's not here.
Thank you for being a friend.
Yes.
Travel down the road and back again.
What is it? I'll do a MASH quote. Take my advice. Pull down your pants and slide on the ice. Good night, everybody.
Right.